In 1957, Don Featherstone created a holiday ornament that would fascinate children and adults alike for generations. You may have seen one of these on your drive here today, the plastic pink flamingo. They're so fun. One city found them so fun, in fact, that in 2009, the plastic pink flamingo became the official city bird of Madison, Wisconsin. And I'll never forget the fundraising group that planted a whole flock of these in my friend's yard for the day, requesting a donation for them to be removed, of course. I don't know how you feel about flamingos. I was never a fan of them growing up. I didn't even like the color pink. But all of that changed one day in 2019. My family and I were living as expats in Mexico. We chartered a local fishing boat and sailed out to find flamingos in the wild. I'd heard the stories and seen the photos and the zoos and all of that, but nothing could have prepared me for what I was about to encounter. As we rounded a bend in the Jungle River under cloudless blue skies, there they were. Not a handful, a horizon of flamingos. There was pink feathers as far as the eye could see. It looked to me like heaven's cotton candy machine had just exploded all over the place. The flamingos were unflustered, unafraid, unbothered. They stood tall and bright, confidently themselves, completely at ease with their community around them, and seemingly unconcerned about the dangers of crocodiles and tourists in their river. After the trip, I began to research these birds more, and I found that every inch of the flamingo is pink. Their flesh, their feathers, even their milk. And who knew they had milk? The color comes from what they eat. The better the nutrients they consume, the brighter the color. And every flamingo has his own unique voice by which he's known of the others in the flock. Flamingos have an innate sense and can sense changes in their environment and the weather that prompt them to adapt or move on accordingly, always in alignment with their intrinsic understanding of their true nature, and always as a community. We're not any different. We also have an inner knowing, a gut feeling that nudges us toward our purpose. And so the problem is not that our purpose is elusive or that it needs to be found, but that we need to lean into this instinct. We need to embrace it, give ourselves permission to pursue it. In a noisy, distracted world, we need to allow ourselves the courage to confidently be seen and heard for who we really are. Too often, we allow ourselves to fill our minds with fear. We numb those nudges and succumb to the voices that say, "You're not good enough. You don't fit in. You can't achieve those goals you've set or the dreams you've dreamed." Society perpetuates an environment where authenticity is stifled, personal growth gets shackled, and too few people are truly living their purpose. They play on our fears of rejection if we should dare to be different or step outside of societal norms. In a world where the negative narratives threaten to drown our unique voices, and where the fear of missing out inhibits our ability to reach our true potential, we have set ourselves up for failure by diminishing the importance of this unique purpose. The purpose that is inside you is driving you. It is there to be highlighted, recognized, and displayed in the same unabashed way that the color of the flamingo runs through the entirety of its being. Our communities suffer when we fail to encourage unique ability as a way to nourish our communities and our society at large. There was a moment in time when, as an expat, struggling to start a business, I was hunkered down in a dim, dingy closet office in another country, completely in isolation, and I was suffering in fear. I knew who I needed to be, but I was scared. I was scared of criticism. I was scared of rejection. I was scared of doing it wrong, of failing, You know, one of the most unique things about the flamingo, though, and their communities, is that in the flamingo community, both sets of adults nourish the chicks. Both of the parents take on that responsibility. They secrete a crop milk, and as the nutrients are passed from the adult to the chick, the adult flamingo is intentionally choosing to diminish his own color and his leadership status within the flock to nourish the next generation. And the moment that I stepped into a room full of entrepreneurs of like interest who understood my goals, valued my voice, cheered my uniqueness, it set me free from being scared to do anything. They nourished me. They spoke life to me. It was liberating, and it felt like coming home. And I want the same for anyone who is struggling to lean into whatever it is that is calling you. I want you to be able to push past those fears that are keeping you from taking the leap. And so today, I'm going to share 3 ways that our communities help us to courageously live out our purpose. In a world that pressures sameness, our community helps us spotlight our difference and leverage it, not criticize it. There are people in the world who need what you have to offer in order to be all that they were created to be. The world needs your contribution and your unique voice, and you need people who will celebrate you for using it. If we're going to stand courageously in our purpose and be all that we were created to be, make the impact we were created to make, persistence is also required. You must persevere. The more that you push through, the easier it becomes to push through. I know it's hard to admit when we're stuck or tempted to give up, but that's just a natural part of purpose-driven living. There will be blue sky days, and there will be muddy ones. And you need a flock that can rally around you and support you regardless of the weather, and they need you to support them as well. And finally, as much as most of us likely have an aversion to change, there is no growth without change. None of us were designed to stay the same. And the more that we listened to that internal barometer that prompts us to those risks and opportunities that we know we need to take, the more we understand the importance of taking action with our own personal growth. And that is so much easier to do when you're surrounded by others who are doing the same. When we are living our purpose boldly, we are life givers to those around us. And while at least in Madison, Wisconsin, a plastic pink flamingo in every yard is not rare, neither are the scared stiff moments we've all experienced. I believe the world will be a better place when we stand tall, when we embrace our uniqueness, and when we live into that boldly colored purpose of our lives. We'll stand strong if we stand together against the naysayers, the criticizers, and even our own fears. Be yourself, fabulous, courageous, unapologetic, because someone out there is listening for your voice. They're depending on you to live into your purpose so that they can live into theirs.